Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Sparkle English, where I help you improve your level of English. In my last video, I talked to you about using the active voice versus the passive voice in writing. And in today's lesson, I want to go into more detail on how you can convert from the active to the passive voice. We're going to do practice with all the verb tenses. So I recommend you watch my other video, which I've linked you to in the description below. But quickly, let's talk about the active voice and the passive voice. In the active voice, the subject of the sentence performs the action expressed by the verb. For example, the boy caught the ball. The boy is the subject and he is performing the action. In the passive voice, the subject of the sentence is acted upon by the verb, and the focus is on the action or the object of the action, and not on the subject. For example, the ball was caught by the boy. In the active sentence, the focus is on the boy, and in the passive sentence, the focus is on the ball and on the action. So how can we convert from active to passive if you want the focus of the sentence to be on the object of the action? Let's first begin with present simple. So in the active voice, we begin with the subject, then we have the verb, then we have the object. For example, the chef cooks the meal. The students discuss the project. The company offers its employees many benefits. And when converting to passive, we begin with the object plus am, is, or are, plus the past participle, and then by subject. So, in the first example, the chef cooks the meal. Now we have to begin the passive sentence with the object. So, the meal is cooked by the chef. Make sure to follow correct subject-verb agreement with the form of to be before the past participle. The meal is singular, so we use a singular verb. In the next example, we begin with the object as well. The project is discussed by the students. Now, in this last example, we have a plural object, many benefits. So, many benefits are offered to the employees by the company. So let's do some practice converting from active to passive in the present simple. Bees make honey. Okay, we know we have to begin with the object, so this should be easy. Honey is made by bees. We have is, the form of to be, plus the past participle made, and then by subject, by bees. Let's try another example. Some dogs bark at strangers. Okay. Again, we're beginning with the object, so we begin with strangers. Strangers are barked at by some dogs. Strangers is plural, so we use are barked at by some dogs. Now let's try some practice with the past simple. The first example, the children ate the cookies. The artist drew a stunning landscape. The manager wrote the evaluations. So now to convert from active to passive in the past simple, again we begin with the object plus was or were plus the past participle plus by subject. So once again, we begin with the object. The cookies were eaten by the children. Cookies is plural, So we use a plural verb, were, plus the past participle. The second example, a stunning landscape was drawn by the artist. A stunning landscape is singular, so we use was plus the past participle drawn. The manager wrote the evaluations. The evaluations were written by the manager. So let's do some practice. The students completed the homework. Okay. The homework was completed by the students. Homework is uncountable, so we use a singular verb, was. The next example, the school organized a book fair. Okay, a book fair was organized by the school. Okay, let's go on to the future simple. My mother will prepare a special dish. The business will launch a new product. When converting to passive with the future simple, we have the object plus will be plus the past participle plus by subject. So, a special dish will be prepared by my mother. A new product will be launched by the business. Let's do one practice sentence. A well-known marine biologist will study the dolphins. Okay, once again, we begin with the object. The dolphins will be studied by a well-known marine biologist. Okay, now let's go on to the present continuous. The baker is making an apple pie. Reporters are interviewing the celebrity. So to convert these to passive, we begin with the object, then am, is, or are being, plus the past participle, plus by subject. So, an apple pie is being made by the baker. The celebrity is being interviewed by the reporters. Now, this is a good example of how you must be careful with subject-verb agreement, because in the active voice, it's are interviewing, and that's because we have a plural subject. However, the passive sentence, we have is being interviewed, and that's because we begin with the celebrity, which is singular. So always be careful with subject-verb agreement when converting from active to passive. Let's do some practice sentences. The family is decorating the Christmas tree. Okay, once again, we begin with the object. The Christmas tree is being decorated by the family. Tourists are taking photos of the parade. Once again, we begin with the object. Photos of the parade are being taken by tourists. Now let's do the past continuous, which is very similar to the present continuous. We have our object plus was or were being plus the past participle plus by subject. So the team was playing an important match. Converted to the passive, an important match was being played by the team. Another example, the librarian was organizing the new books. And the passive, the new books were being organized by the librarian. We use were because books is plural. So now let's do some practice. My brother was assembling a model airplane. Okay, once again, we begin with the object. A model airplane was being assembled by my brother. All right, now we're going to do the present perfect. With the present perfect, we convert from active to passive with have or has been plus the past participle plus by subject. So, the designer has created a new clothing line. And in the passive voice, a new clothing line has been created by the designer. Another example, the travel agency has arranged numerous exotic trips. In the passive, numerous exotic trips have been arranged by the travel agency. In this example, we use have been arranged instead of has been because the object is plural, trips. So we need a plural verb. Okay, let's do some practice. The carpenter has built a new table. Okay, once again, we're beginning with the object. A new table has been built by the carpenter. And another example. The plumber has fixed the leaking pipes. Okay, once again, beginning with the object, the leaking pipes have been fixed by the plumber. Again, in this example, we use have because pipes is plural, so we need a plural verb. Now let's go on to the past perfect. When converting from active to passive in the past perfect, we have the object plus had been plus the past participle plus by subject. For example, the journalist had written an article before the news broke. In the passive voice, an article had been written by the journalist before the news broke. Another example, the musicians had recorded the album before the tour started. In the passive, the album had been recorded by the musicians before the tour started. Let's do one final practice before our quiz. Here is the active voice. The orchestra had played a beautiful symphony before the intermission. Okay, once again, beginning with the object. A beautiful symphony had been played by the orchestra before the intermission. Okay, now it's time for our quiz. There are 5 sentences in total, and you must convert them from active to passive. First, I want you to identify what the verb tense is. Is it present simple? Is it present continuous? And then do the conversion. Also, be careful of subject-verb agreement. Number 1, the big dog chases the clever cat. Number 2, the workers built the bridge. Number 3, Jessica has written a new novel. Number 4, John and Karen are painting the fence. Number 5, the scientists have discovered a new species. Okay, let's correct these together. The first one is in the present simple tense. The conversion is the clever cat is chased by the big dog. Number 2 is the past simple. So we must convert it, and it also must remain in the past simple tense. The bridge was built by the workers. Number 3 is in the present perfect. So the conversion, a new novel has been written by Jessica. Number 4 is in the present continuous. So the conversion, the fence, is being painted by John and Karen. Remember to be careful of subject-verb agreement. Fence is singular, so we write is being painted. And finally, number 5. Number 5 is in the present perfect. So the conversion, a new species has been discovered by the scientists. Now, you might wonder why this is has and not have. Even though species ends with an S, it can be both singular or plural. And we know this is the singular form because of the article a new species, not multiple new species. We're just talking about one. So, a new species has been discovered by the scientists. Okay, let me know in the comment section how many you got correct out of 5. If you had any difficulty, I recommend you watch this video again and do some more practice converting from active to passive. The more you practice, the easier it will become, especially as you become more familiar with the different verb tenses. You can check out other videos of mine on different verb tenses by watching my Grammar Essentials playlist, which I've linked you to in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in my next lesson.